What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Diddy, and today we got, if this could load any minute now, the hunt for America's deadliest hitman. I wanted to see, cause like a year ago, I had reacted to like a hitman video, and it was like Nate Boone. It did good, so I wanted to try it again. So if you guys like it, let me know, like and subscribe. So I want to see what this is about, cause I heard like a second. It sounded interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Why is not loading? Hold on. The recording smooth. Everything smooth. Straight. Full screen it right quick. Bro, I say full screen, my nigga. Damn, bro. Y'all niggas waiting. Hold on. Don't leave yet. My computer is a little bit slow. We working on it. We working on it, gang. Wait, don't click, gang. We working on it. We working on it, man. Damn, it's a struggle. But let's get into it, man.
On a ranch near Erlenmeyer, Tulare County. It's a beautiful place, surrounded by Californian vineyards.
Let me skip it back for y'all, boys. I heard it was like a second there. Let me skip it back. It gave us a trigger warning. Alright, let's watch this.
It's 1978. Jose is 16 years old. He lives with his family on a ranch near Erlenmeyer, Tulare County. It's a beautiful place, surrounded by Californian vineyards. One day, his sister Cecilia has a request.
She went and told me, hey bro, can you take me to
This is what you expect from country
yo
music, bro.
to meet this guy? I said, sure, sister, why not?
Oh, what
And
the
I took my sister to this little house to find her stupid friend. Well, I didn't feel comfortable going inside with her. Okay, months passed by and she never came home. First they
Damn,
found her
months
car,
passed by?
and then they found her body.
Jose was the last person to see Cecilia alive, but when he made a witness statement,
I didn't want to give the full explanation because I want to get them. I didn't want the cops to find them. I want to find them myself.
No.
We went to this little house. We broke in there, and we found one. I shot him.
He then went on to shoot two more
What
people who
the
were also in the
Nah,
house.
nigga, this is crazy.
What a triple homicide at the age of 16.
Hold on, this
We
is
went
crazy.
to
Wait,
this-
wait, who was Cecilia?
to meet this guy. I said, sure, sister, why not? And I took my sister to this little house.
Oh, it was his
To
sister.
find
That's
her
a reasonable
stupid friend.
crash out. That's a reasonable
Well,
crash out.
I didn't feel comfortable
That's a
going inside
reasonable
with her.
crash out right there.
Okay, months passed by and she never came home. First they found her car, and then they found her body.
Dude, this
Jose
is a
was the
reasonable
last person to
crash
see
out.
Cecilia alive, but when he made a witness statement,
I didn't want to give the full explanation because I want to get them. I didn't want the cops to find them.
No,
I want to find them
nah,
myself.
that's a nigga
We
who
went
meant revenge,
to
nigga.
this little house.
That's understandable.
We
Hold
broke in
on.
there, and we found one. I shot him.
he then went on to shoot two more people who were also in the house.
Hold on, he's not the
A
bad guy yet.
cold-blooded triple homicide at the age of 16.
Oh, shit.
In the following decades, Jose will kill more than 30 people. What begins with a young act of revenge
Oh,
ends in one of the
that
most
nigga,
ruthless
he-
hitmen for the
he
Mexican
liked
drug
it that
cartels.
good.
His victims are scattered across the entire U.S.
He
and,
liked
of
it that
course, in
good.
his home county of Tulare. He has taken the lives of both young and old, drug dealers and farm workers, fathers and husbands.
No.
It will take over 30 years and police from 3 different states to bring him
Damn.
down. This is the story of Jose Manuel Martinez, El Mano Negra, the Black Hand, one of America's deadliest hitmen.
Nah, he the type of nigga you'll never expect it from, bro. Look at that nigga. Him coming up to you, you'll never expect it from.
We
him,
love
bro.
animation and deep research,
I'm
but
just-
it's expensive.
I'm just
That's why we
saying
have
this
sponsors
shit.
on this channel. We are grateful.
W pause. We'll pause this shit. Oh shit, my girlfriend.
The truly amazing platform Brilliant is supporting us. With Brilliant, you can learn new skills across a wide variety of subjects. It lets you explore all these fields without ever feeling bored or overwhelmed. For example, chances are that this video was recommended to you by an algorithm. The new Brilliant course, How Technology Works, lets you understand the inner workings of such recommendation engines, but also how passwords work, GPS, and many other things we use every day. To try everything Brilliant has to offer, free, for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/fern or click on the link in the description. The first 200 of you will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. Brilliant also has a mobile app, so you can learn about maths and science anywhere, on the go, at home, even while watching top-notch true crime content on YouTube. Brilliant truly never gets old. It's fun and super satisfying to solve many logic problems and puzzles. Why don't you give it a shot?
Before I ever met him, I talked to a lot of police officers, homicide detectives, murder detectives, who had dealt with him. And they all said the same thing, which is, when you meet him, he is the most charming person
No, look,
you
he
will
looked
ever
like
meet.
a conniver.
This is Jessica Garrison, a journalist and
That's
author.
crazy. He
In
looked kinda
2017, she
conniving.
met Jose in prison for a BuzzFeed News investigation and her book, The Devil's Harvest.
The perspective of
So
his
he was smarter
family
than he
was
looked.
that he was the person in the family who always took care of them. If you were in the hospital, he was the person that would come visit you. If the hospital wouldn't let you in, he was the person that would find a way to hoist children up to the window so they could wave at you. I think he was not a person who anyone who just first met him ever suspected of being a multiple murderer.
How does a polite, loving family man turn into a mass murderer?
What the freak?
Martinez is born in 1962 in Fresno, California. He's a U.S. citizen, but he grows up in Mexico until the age of 11. He then moves with his family to a ranch near Erlamart. At the time, Tulare is the poorest county in California. His stepfather organizes laborers for the wine industry, and as a side business, deals drugs. At the age of 14, Martinez is sent on his first drug courier trip by bus. Later, he uses his own car. As a bilingual, U.S.-born teenager, Martinez can easily stay under the radar of authorities. In 1977, the police raid his family's ranch. They confiscate $2.5 million worth of heroin and various weapons. Then in 1978, while his stepfather was in custody, Cecilia is murdered. Martinez said that he was a nice man until they killed his sister. Since then, he said fuck the Rippers and the child molesters. So he did in 1979. His first victim is David Bedoya. A friend tells Martinez that Bedoya raped his sister. Martinez does the job for $500. His first murder for money. In 1982, he meets a man from a Mexican drug cartel, most likely Sinaloa. He only refers to him as Mr. X.
Mr. X was involved in the moving of large amounts of narcotics, drugs from Mexico through California and to points beyond. And Mr. X, gave Mr. Martinez numerous jobs killing people.
Not every job for Mr. X is directly related to murder. Most of the time, Martinez is tasked with collecting debts from small-time drug dealers. He receives his assignment through phone calls or brief personal meetings.
A lot of it is sold on spec. I give you the drugs, you sell the drugs, you give some of the money back to me, right? But if you take the drugs and you don't give the money back to me, we have a problem. Then Jose Martinez would go and collect that money.
Martinez does end up in jail several times. For example, in 1990 because of his drug courier activities. But he is never charged with his murders. That's weird, because his name does appear in several homicide cases going back all the way to 1979.
I mean, it's fine.
Bro,
if you
this
turn
shit
up in one
is
murder case, maybe
crazy,
that's bad
dude.
luck.
I have no
maybe a
words. This
coincidence.
nigga is dangerous. Nigga.
7 or 8, you gotta be like, what's happening here?
In hindsight, it's difficult to understand why no one connected the dots back then. It will take many years and several victims before someone picks up Martinez's trail. November
This shit is crazy,
2006.
bro.
Martinez flies to Florida to deal with a 20-year-old named Javier Huerta.
I was playing with this nigga.
Javier
I
is
don't play
accused
with
of
this nigga
stealing
no
10
more, but
kilograms
who
of
his people
cocaine
is,
worth
bro.
around $170,000. Martinez keeps a close eye on Huerta for a few days, and then he decides to strike.
I called Javier Huerta. They told me that you're a Missouri worker, and I want you to come so you can get me an estimate price for my house. They got in. I locked the door. When I turned out, I had my guns out. Well, to hit the floor, and this single man will tell you, you stole 10 kilos from cocaine from me. If you don't get my money in 30 minutes, I'm gonna call my friend that is outside your house, and he's gonna shoot your family.
Martinez gets the money, $150,000, are buried in Huerta's garden. He shoots Huerta and his colleague 4 times each. He binds their hands with zip ties and puts their bodies in Huerta's truck. He takes the car and drives it to the outskirts of a national park, smoking a cigarette on the way, perhaps to calm down.
Yo, this nigga
After
was
the job,
wild,
Martinez
bro.
flies directly to his daughter's home in Alabama.
This nigga was
His granddaughter is celebrating her birthday. He wants to use the money he just earned to make her happy.
I got her.
Boy, your
I took her to
granddad
Toys R
was,
Us,
your
where a kid
granddad
can be
was
a kid.
a cold-blooded killer.
I told her, babe,
I gotta
because
watch
love you
out for
with my
niggas
heart,
like this nigga. From now on,
Me
I'm
and you-
watching out for this face creation. Hey, this a face creation I never expected. Not this nigga. Hold on, let me get to this nigga. I don't know, bro. It's the niggas you never expect now.
I got her. I took her to Toys R Us,
This nigga.
where a kid can be a kid. I told her, babe, because I love you with all my heart, me and you, we're gonna walk in the store, and for 1 hour, you can pick whatever you want, okay?
While Martinez is treating his granddaughter at Toys R Us, investigators in Florida discover Huerta's truck with the 2 dead bodies. They find a Mountain Dew can in the center console of the vehicle, with a cigarette butt laying in a puddle of the yellow-green liquid. They send the cigarette butt to a lab to check for DNA traces, but the test is not conducted right away.
Go home.
The evaluation probably isn't a big priority. Huerta was a construction worker and had many co-workers in the car with him, so investigators had little hope of a hit. In fact, the results won't reach them until years later. Martinez escapes conviction for the murder of Huerta, at least for the time being. In 2009, Martinez kills a man named Joaquin Barragan in Early March for $8,000. He used a woman as a lure. She brought drugs from Barragan, contacting Martinez when the meeting was set. 3 days later, Barragan's body is found under a blanket, his hands bound for the time being. In 2009, Martinez kills a man named Joaquin Barragan in Early March for $8,000. He used a woman as a lure. She brought drugs from Barragan, contacting Martinez when the meeting was set. 3 days later, Barragan's body is found under a blanket, his hands bound with zip ties. The police questioned many people in Erlenmark about the murder. They learned that Barragan knew he was being pursued by a contract killer known as El Mano Negra, the Black Hand. The woman tells investigators that Martinez tried to hire her to lure Barragan to a remote location.
No.
Others say that El Mano Negra is in fact Martinez's nickname. The investigators don't have enough evidence against him, but they still decide to make a move. They arrest Martinez for violating probation, but when they knock on his door, he scrambles out his phone, removes the SIM card, and swallows it. Nothing else on there can incriminate him. When the police question Martinez, he claims that everyone in Erlenmark is lying, and that he didn't kill Barragan. They send him to
Boy,
prison
that nigga
anyway
swallowed
for
his SIM
violating his
card.
probation terms.
He's a demon.
When Martinez gets out of prison about a half year later, he directly marches to the Violent Crime Division of the Tulare County Sheriff's Office. He wants his white Chevy Suburban back that the police had seized from him. Martinez agrees to answer a few questions from the police in return. He hints that he is a collector for a Mexican drug cartel from Guadalajara, and he also claims to know that Barragan was murdered, not due to debts, because he was a rat. The investigators are suspicious. They suggest a lie detector test. These aren't technically valid ways of determining a lie, but police will still often use them for investigations. Martinez agrees. He is asked several times if he knows who killed Berga. Martinez, of course, denies that he killed him. The lie detector's response to Martinez's answers are clear. Deception is indicated.
Yeah, no.
Still, the investigators' hands are tied.
Yeah, no.
Without clear evidence of a confession, they can't pin Martinez down.
Oh,
In the end, the black hand once again slips from their grasp.
damn.
The cigarette butt is still in the lab. The police in Florida have other cases to handle, and they forgot about those bodies in that trunk.
Oh,
It looks like Martinez can just keep going on forever. But then something happens in Alabama.
oh, shit. This nigga is wild. If he don't stop, he all
Early
over with it.
2013, 35 years after the murder of Martinez's sister, 33 years after he shot David Badella for $500, Martinez is now 51 years old.
51.
He is once
doing
again
it at
visiting his
51.
daughter in Alabama.
This nigga had a wild
He
life.
spends a lot
bro.
of time
Like,
with his grandchildren,
like,
picks them up
you
from
can't look at this nigga and just tell he didn't kill about 8 people, bro. Like,
school, dresses them
he
up
could
as
really
Disney
look
princesses,
back and say,
and has
bro,
spa days with them. His daughter knows he's a criminal,
he
but
one of
she
them
thinks he's
ones,
just
bro.
a smuggler who helps to bring people across the
You know
border
he in
into
jail
the
now,
U.S.
yeah.
While at her home, Martinez
But
has
he
an
50
idea.
right now.
He learns that a friend of his daughter's partner needs help collecting a debt. He'll help him, but in reality, he just wants to learn from the friend a little bit about his daughter's partner, Jaime Romero. Is he a good guy? He meets with a friend named Jose Ruiz. In the car, Martinez asks Ruiz about his daughter's partner. Ruiz says Romero is okay, but he proceeds to call his girlfriend names and a terrible mother.
Oh,
He doesn't realize
oh shit.
it's Martinez's daughter.
Oh
And so
shit. He
Martinez
about to kill
decides
him.
to forgive him, realizing that we're all human on this rotating rock in the void.
Oh boy.
And naturally, we can all make mistakes.
Boy, this
He
nigga
patiently
almost had
tells
to
Ruiz,
pop his
"Hey,
ass. Boy, this nigga, boy, Ruiz, nigga, you don't know who you messing with, nigga.
I'm her father."
This a
And that's not a
hitman,
kind way to
nigga.
speak
He
about my
might
daughter.
pop your ass.
No. Martinez decides that Jose Ruiz must die. But not right
Oh,
now.
he did. Pop
People
his
saw them
ass.
together. So he returns to California for the time being, and
Oh,
Ruiz is allowed a few more weeks on Earth.
oh, this nigga done
On
killed
March
his
4th,
daughter
2013,
boyfriend, man.
Martinez is back.
Nah,
He
you
goes on a little
wild.
tour with Romero and Ruiz. They stop to stretch their legs in a remote national park. Martinez pulls out a gun, points it at Ruiz, and says, "The woman you insulted is my daughter, you bastard." Then he shoots him twice in the head. He gets back in the car and tells the shocked Romero to drive and better keep this to himself. The police quickly discover the dead
Wow.
Ruiz and find a Walmart receipt with him. They review surveillance cameras and identify a companion of Ruiz. It's Romero. He is arrested and suspected of murder. Shortly afterwards, Martinez contacts the police, providing Romero with an alibi and claiming that they were together at the time of the killing. But the police do not believe him, and Romero remains in custody.
He
1
got,
month later, Martinez is visiting his son.
he
in
got
Illinois.
off again.
Suddenly, the police start banging on the door. Martinez is convinced that they are there because of him. Romero must have talked. He flees the house, and a sheriff deputy named Crystal Darrington gives chase. In reality, Martinez had nothing to fear. The police officer doesn't know a thing about the murder in Alabama. She had come to visit Martinez's son because she is investigating a series of robberies and hopes for his assistance. She apprehends Martinez and brings him to the station. A colleague whispers to Darrington that the man she brought in is El Mano Negra, supposedly a contract killer responsible for several murders in the area.
They could arrest Jose Martinez and hold him for being a felon in possession of a gun. And instead, he convinced them to let him go. And he offered to get them, get bad guns off the street. We have a lot of guns everywhere. Many of them are legal and many of them are illegal. And so the police were interested in kind of getting illegal guns. And Jose Martinez assisted them with this.
Wow.
They thought it was because he didn't want to get locked up. That may be true, but I think it's also because he kind of wanted to keep tabs on. He knew he'd committed this murder in Alabama.
Wow.
He knew he had all these other murders, and he kind of wanted to keep an eye on, did they suspect him?
As
This
Martinez
nigga's
collaborates with the
cold,
police in
bro.
California, an unsolved case in Florida is reopened. It's from 2006. The murder is of Javier Huerta. Investigators finally received the lab report regarding the cigarette butt in the Mountain Dew they found all those years ago. They get a hit. The DNA belongs to a man who had previously been in prison, Jose Manuel Martinez. A detective named TJ Watts takes on the murder case. At this point, Martinez is still not their primary suspect. But Watts is puzzled by why a Californian cigarette butt would turn up so far away in Florida. He contacts an investigator in California who tells him Martinez's story, that they know him, that he's been helping them collect illegal weapons, and that he's involved in several murder investigations, but that they can't prove anything against him. But then the investigator in California tells Watts a small but crucial detail. Many of the murders involve the use of zip ties. Watts is intrigued. He also has a few unsolved murders on his desk where zip ties were used. He has a strong suspicion that Martinez might be the person he's looking for. He doesn't seem as a useful informant like the colleagues in California do. Watts believes Martinez might just be a killer. He marks him as person of interest. Meanwhile, Jaime Romero is still locked up in an Alabama prison, facing accusations for the murder of his friend, Jose Ruiz. He is terrified of his father-in-law. He witnessed his cold-bloodedness firsthand, but he can't go to prison. He has a daughter and a life at home. So he calls for the man in charge, Detective McWhorter, and talks. On May 17th, the investigators finally issue an arrest warrant for Martinez on murder charges. When he returns back to the U.S. from a trip to Mexico, Martinez is arrested in Arizona. He learns that there's a warrant out for him for murder. His only question is where the warrant came from.
Where did 30 come from, though? I thought we was
McWhorter is the first to hear about Martinez's arrest at the border. He immediately sets off for Arizona to personally bring him back. On the way back to Alabama, they talk about life, the military, and even share a pizza at the airport. McWhorter is surprised at how little Martinez seems to care about being charged with murder. Upon arriving in Alabama, they are met by Detective Watts. He too had jumped on a plane to interrogate Martinez. Neither detective expects Martinez to confess. Perhaps he would spend time in jail and then make a mistake during a phone call from inside. At best, Martinez might admit to being at the crime scene, but try to blame everything on Romero. But things take a different turn. Martinez confesses almost immediately to killing Ruiz. He also confesses to the murder case in Florida. He provides detailed descriptions of the crime scenes, the number of bullets used, and says, if I hadn't done the job, someone else would have.
What?
But it doesn't end there. Martinez then asks for Crystal Darrington, the deputy sheriff from Tulare.
What?
When she arrives in Alabama, he drops a bombshell. He's a contract killer and has killed numerous people. He goes on to confess to one murder after another.
Shot him in the head. It's like 22. Took my gun and I shot him inside the gun on the leg. I didn't kill him, murder.
It was a long list. I mean, Crystal Darrington said that she was just like frantically texting her bosses, like, oh my God, another one, and then like, I think the next day he's like, oh my gosh, I have another one. So it was a shocking list of murderers.
He confesses to over 35 murders. Today, it is thought to be over 40.
They went back and reinvestigated all of them. Like, they didn't just take his word for it and tried to make sure it was true. And ultimately, they decided that they believed it.
Martinez is brought to trial for most, but not all of his murders. Some cases couldn't be resolved. At the time, he even faces the death penalty, which doesn't seem to worry him.
He didn't even care.
I know I'm going to go to electric chair. I can go if I die tomorrow.
In the end, Martinez is sentenced to 50 years in prison in Alabama for the murder of Ruiz, life in prison without the possibility of parole in California for 9 murders, and 2 consecutive life sentences in Florida. Martinez certainly didn't make it easy for the police. He left few traces, often there were no concrete pieces of evidence, and as a hitman, there were usually no direct connections between him and his victims. Especially in the 80s and 90s, police in California had a lot of murders to deal with. They had limited resources. But there is also another reason why Martinez wasn't caught for so long.
There are other people who would say, well, he didn't try that hard to get it, in part because the people that he was killing were not people that created these giant outcry. He was generally killing people without very much power. And so I think that was sort of one of the heartbreaking things to me when I started working on this is that I went and found some of the family members of some of his victims, and many of them said over and over, like, it seems like no one cared that our relative was killed. Um, and so I think that to me was sort of the craziest and most heartbreaking part of this case.
This movie, this shit. I see a movie. That's how you know this shit was crazy as a bitch. I'm just starstruck, gang. What about you? If you enjoyed it, make sure you like and subscribe. I'm just intrigued, bro. I did that now. I'm trying to unfull screen, but my computer just won't be slow. You feel me? Best be boy did it, man. And I'm out. Peace. See you boys, man.